Okay, we're live. No one's on here yet, but that's okay. Some of this is just me wanting to get some of my frustrations out on this game here. I'm going to get the. I'm going to pull up the stupid box score. Why is this? What in the world? Why is the? Why does it want me to? I already signed in. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. One second here. This is so frustrating. I'm already signed in. Why do I have to? Yes, this is me. Gosh, this is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. All of this to get my freaking chat up. Okay. Okay. Now I'm finally connected to the stupid I finally have my software connected there. The reason why I went live, I never go live after Royals games, but I wanted to go live after here because I was on with Soren Petro and Randy Gisarelli, and then they brought in Joe Sheehan to talk to him, notorious Yankee fan and co-founder of Baseball Prospectus. I have a little bit of respect for Joe Sheehan, but then all they do is get on there on the broadcast tonight, and they just start arguing about payroll. And I'm like, I can't do this. We're sitting here. We need to talk about the issues of this series that the Royals have. That's what the fans want. They don't want no freaking Yankee lover as a co-host tonight. I'm sorry. I love Seren. I love Randy. Well, kind of Randy, but drives me a little crazy sometimes. But that's not what we need. That's not what Royals fans need. And I probably will be the only one in here tonight, just talking to myself to an empty chat, and that's fine. The problem with this game with the Royals is not the walks. Yeah, you would like to see them walk fewer batters. The Yankees aren't hitting at all. the Royals pitching has actually done a pretty decent job, and they've done a decent job at limiting damage. If you would have told me after the Royals scored 9 runs in the first 2 games without the help of Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino, if you'd have told me that that coming into this game, they would only allow 3 runs, I would have taken that in a heartbeat, because I would have thought they could at least scratch across 4 runs, 3 or 4 runs against a pitcher like Schmidt, who you knew wasn't going to go more than 3 or 4 innings tonight. But instead, what do the Royals do? Well, they did. I mean, Schmidt only did go. What did he go? 4 and 2/3. They brought him out in the 5th when the Royals got their 2 runs. And how did the Royals get those 2 runs? They got those 2 runs because of the bottom of the order. They got him with Adam Frazier singling, Kyle Isbell double, and then Michael Massey hit a triple. And then they couldn't. And then Bobby Witt Jr. comes up, and what does he do? He craps the bed like he has done this entire series. And it's frustrating to me. This is the guy who, in Bobby Witt Jr., who is supposed to be your superstar. You're paying him like a superstar now. And he had an MVP caliber season. He's not going to win MVP, but he had an MVP caliber season. But honestly, guys, his MVP season ended on September 16th. That was the last time Bobby Witt Jr. hit a home run. The last time, and that was 17 games ago. The last time he hit an extra base hit was a double on September 18th, 2 days later, 15 games ago. He has gone 15 games without an extra base hit. Now, you'll get some people who will say, well, you got to give him some slack. I mean, he was the reason why the Royals beat the Baltimore Orioles. No, he wasn't. He had 2 soft hits and drove in 2 runs over 2 games, and the Royals won the series. The Royals scored 3 runs in 2 games because their offense was absolutely deplorable. Now, did he have 2 timely hits? Yes, he had 2 timely hits. Give him credit for that. The Royals beat the Baltimore Orioles because of their pitching staff. And I would argue that they lost game 1 to the Yankees, not because of their pitching. Yeah, they did walk 8 batters in that game. But they gave up, well, like I said, they gave up those walks. But if this is where I'm preaching for robo umpires, for automatic balls and strikes to be called based on a computer, because if that was the case, I think the Royals win game 1. Now, I'm not going to go into the play at second base, where they called Chisholm safe when he was I want to say clearly out, but he was out. But they're not going to have a computer do that. What drives me crazy about that game 1 loss was the strike zone difference between one and the other. And when you look at umpire scorecards, that call that he didn't make in the 4th inning, it was the 2-2 pitch to Gleyber Torres. I mean, that changed the entire inning and honestly changed the direction of the game. Now, if he calls him out there, he doesn't score. They don't score any of those runs. Do the Royals win 5-4 instead of lose 6-5? I don't know, because it's hard to tell what happens after that. But honestly, I do think the Royals should have won game 1, and they pitched very well in game 2 and they bunched hits together, which is what they've done all season long. And honestly, they did that tonight for 1 inning and getting 2 runs in the 5th. And they had another opportunity to score later in the game with Gurriel up, with Bobby on 3rd, and Salvador Perez on 1st. So let's talk about that play real quick. I've seen a lot on social media about how the Royals should have called for a steal for Bobby Witt Jr. there. Because if he was on second base when Salvi gets that hit, he scores the tying run. Here's the thing. With 2 outs, Bobby Witt Jr. is, if he steals second base there, and look, he has not been good at stealing bases over the past 2 months, okay? But let's just, for argument's sake, let's say he does steal that bag. They're not pitching to Salvador Perez there. as much as Yuri Gurriel has been a better hitter, and I say a better hitter, I mean he's been getting some singles. If you look at their numbers here, Salvi's hitting 250, 286, and 400. Gurriel's 235. He's got a good on base because he's been drawing walks, but his slug is 294. Okay, Gurriel is a 40-year-old singles hitter, and that's what they were hoping to get there. They're going to walk Salvador Perez if Bobby's still second base there. And Gurriel's up with runners on first and second now. Instead of, at least with Salvi, when he got the hit, he moved Bobby to third base. So you actually would have been in a worse position there. There's no way they pitched to Salvador Perez in that situation. You pitched to the 40-year-old journeyman first baseman all day of the week. And honestly, I mean, Gurriel's been getting on base. That's really been the only saving grace that he's had. But just look down here. Look at the slugging percentage. Now, Michael Massey has hit well. He's had some extra base hits here in the postseason. But Bobby is slugging 182. Vinny is slugging 105. Perez is at 400. Would you like to see him higher than that? But, geez, compared to 105, it looks like Babe Ruth there. Gurriel's not slugging anything. Melendez isn't doing absolutely nothing at the plate. Garcia went 0 for 4 tonight to drop his average to 3. In a short series in the playoffs, when you go 0 for 4 and your average is still 316, that means you've been hitting well. Garcia has actually been playing well in the playoffs. He's been one of the few bright spots. Adam Frazier, this was the first action he'd seen tonight, so he went 1 for 3. He's hitting 333, but that's all he's done is tonight. Tommy Pham has done absolutely nothing. He pinch hit for Frazier. I would have actually rather seen Frazier there with 2 outs in the ninth inning than Tommy Pham, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought, Frazier as a left-handed batter, maybe he can sneak one into the outfield, or work the count, because Tommy Pham doesn't work the count. Maybe Frazier can work the count, get on base for Kyle Isabel, and you never know. Kyle Isabel is Isabel has actually hit him. Isabel, Massey, and Garcia are the only guys that are doing anything in this postseason. And honestly, that's scary. I mean, you would expect Michael Massey, to be one of those guys. He's one of your top of the lineup hitters. And I know last night or 2 nights ago he hit 6th. Yeah, hey Josh, I'm glad to see you here, dude. I couldn't take. Freaking Joe Sheehan, him and Rainey and Seren arguing about payroll. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not listening to this garbage. So appreciate you jumping on here. I just had to vent here. I just got to get this nonsense off my chest. Just about this ridiculous game. And like I said, I don't blame the pitching. I don't blame the pitching for this. They did their job. Yeah, walking 9 batters, walking 9 batters is crazy. I want to say a lot of those walks came with 2 outs, though. We could go back and look at the play-by-play. I don't know how many of those walks. I know the other night in Game 1 there was a lot of walks, like to lead off the inning. Let's go to the play-by-play. Let's actually kind of look through here. No walks in the first. None in the second. So a 1-out walk in the third. That didn't come around. Okay, so Soto did walk to lead off the inning, and he ended up coming around to score on Stanton's double. Stanton, man, that guy was crazy. So here's a walk and the second guy in the inning, and then a walk there. Okay, so there were more. Maybe there was more starting off than I remember. Top of the 6th, nothing there. Top of the 7th, 2-out walk. Top of the 8th, 2 2-out walks in the 8th. In the 9th, I guess a 1-out walk. I thought it was 2 outs because, like I said, I was watching on Gamecast, and it said in-play outs. So I'm like, okay. So when Judge came up, I thought he was up with 2 outs. And the next thing I know, it changed it from 2 outs to 1 out. And I'm like, what happened? Then I saw the replay, because they do, the MLB does, and the Royals Twitter account does replays real quick, and then I saw Gurriel just drop the ball. So, yeah, I know Joe Sheehan. Look, I really like Seren, and I would consider Seren a good acquaintance of mine. I wouldn't say a friend, but I call him an acquaintance of mine. I've known him for a long time. But well, I guess it wasn't even his idea. It was Randy's idea to bring Joe Sheehan into this game to that broadcast tonight. I was like, that's ridiculous. I mean, the Royals fans, we're chapped right now. We're a little raw. So yeah, I agree. The walks, they did feel like they killed, but yeah, but only giving up 3 runs. That's like if you only give up 3 runs, I would have taken that. If you'd have told me before the game started that, hey, you're only going to give up 3 runs tonight, knowing that they'd scored 9 runs in the first 2 games of the series, 4.5 runs a game, I would have rolled the dice and said, okay, I'll roll the dice with Lugo and with a rested bullpen, who's pitched really well. I mean, well, let's talk about the 8th inning. Stanton obviously hits the home run in the top of the 8th inning. Bubic came on and struck out Wells, and then he gave up the home run to Stanton, which was an absolute bomb. He cleared the bullpen, almost hit it to the concourse there by the Hall of Fame. What drove me crazy about that was that in the previous inning to face Judge, Q brought in Brady Singer. He took Sam Long out, which I think was probably the right move. I'm not. Maybe this is why I'm not a major league manager. Well, for many reasons, but I'm not as big on righty-lefty splits for pitchers, but I do pay attention to them for hitters. And if you're a good enough pitcher, you should be able to get by regardless. Sam Long is not one of those guys, so I did agree with him bringing in Singer there. But with the game still tied, I know the adage is that if you're at home, you roll your pitchers out like you would if you're winning. The problem I see with that is that you do that for your closer. So if the game gets to the top of the 9th and it's 2-2, yeah, you bring Lucas Erceg in every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But in the 8th inning, you still have to look at situations. And Giancarlo Stanton, when does he change his name back to Mike? Remember when he was Mike Stanton? Stanton crushes left-handed pitching. And I like Brady Singer's stuff there as opposed to Bubic's stuff, which, Bubic is coming right at him. Bubic has he throws that that slider and that curveball that come in there and they look like lollipop meatballs to a right-handed batter. And that's exactly what it was, a curveball. Now, granted, I'll give Stanton credit. He went down and golfed it out. I mean, it was below the knees. It was not a strike. So it was a decent pitcher's pitch, but he still got too much. He got it over the plate too much, even though it was low. He was over the plate too much, and Stanton just absolutely crushed it. So, just not something that you. And then when that went out, I'm just like, there was, I didn't have a lot of faith in the Royals at that point to come back in later innings or the next inning, but. To their credit, they did get 2 runners on, but Gurriel couldn't come through with a hit. But I want to go. I go back to Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino. There was one of the guys in the chat with the Soretta and Randy the other night. He was I think it was Kurt Nelson in the chat there. He was hypothesizing that maybe Bobby Witt Jr. is injured, and I don't know if that's the case or not. I mean, he could be injured, but I don't know. He doesn't look like he is, and I don't know when that would have come into place. I agree with you, Josh. Vinny coming back, great story, and and he's hit the ball hard. He got unlucky there in the 8th inning. It was Volpe just made a great play. I mean, heck, Bob Costas thought it was a base hit. That goes through. I think Bobby stops at second. It's hard to say, well, then Salvi would have got a hit and Bobby would have scored the next guy. You never know. They could have had their positioning differently. Salvi could have grounded it into a double play for all we know. Or he could have hit a home run. Maybe they pitch him differently and they make a mistake and Salvi hits one, over the Hall of Fame. So it's just I just so many what ifs in this game. Yeah. Oh, so when did he get hit on his hand? I don't remember that. Was that? Do you remember what series that was? Because I when I tweeted out that he hasn't hit a home run since the 17th. Here, I still have this up here. So his last home run was right here. It was against the Tigers. This was the grand slam. That was the game. That was the day he hit the grand slam when the Royals went up. What was it? That put us up. Weren't they up like 6-1 at that point, or 6-0, or we fight? It's something. Well, or was that? That was in the first inning, wasn't it? Was that 4-0? I can't remember. I know the Royals had a big lead, and then the Tigers came back and won, and that was pretty much. After they took 2 or 3 from the Pirates, but they lost that Sunday game, and if you would have told me that the Royals still would have made the playoffs, and that would have been his last home run. He hit a homer after he got his hand hit. Okay, well, we got the stats up here. So he was hit by a pitch on. Stop it, Baseball Reference. So he was hit by a pitch on the 18th, which ironically enough. Oh, I guess he did have a double on the 21st. I thought it was the 18th. So he got hit by a pitch here on the 18th. Against the Tigers. That was that the game I was at? No, I was at this game. I was at the September 17th game. That was a Tuesday, yeah. That was the game I was at. That's right, because they was tied at 1 going into the 10th inning. So that was the only game I've been to 2 games this year. They've lost both of them. I was at that one, and it was a game back in May. Let's see. When was May 8th? Was that? That was a Wednesday. I'm trying to think when my son came home. Maybe it was June. I know we went for his birthday, but his birthday's in the middle of May. His birthday was here. They won on his birthday, 8-4. They beat the A's. Oh, it was this one right here. That's right. It was the 10-inning game against the Mariners on June 9th. Yeah, because they had won the first 2 games of that series, and then they lost this one, 6-5. That was the only other game. So both games I went to this year, the Royals went to 10 innings and lost both games. I tell you, 820. Oh, 828, 827. He got hit. Okay, let's see here. 827. Yeah, he got hit by a pitch. You know what? He was hitting 346 then. And then, so his average dropped 14 points after that. So that win, okay, was that the double? Okay, no, the doubleheader was that day before. So August 27th, that should have been a Tuesday. Yeah, so I was in New Mexico. And when the Royals won that game, I was down there for work. I was down there for work, and they won that game 6-1. And it was, I remember we were out at we were at this place called Sawmill Market. We were in Albuquerque, and it's like an upscale food court, lots of different things. Like I had fish and chips, and their piece of fish and one fillet of fish and fries, and just like a 20-ounce soda was $22. My word. Now, I will say it was good fish. It was a big piece of fish, too, but I was like, can I get like 3 pieces of this fish? It was like maybe 1.5. It was like maybe 50% larger than what you think like a Long John Silver fillet is, So it was a big piece. Don't get me wrong, but $22? It was crazy. But I was there that night, and I was watching it on my phone. And then the next day, we had just left where we were. We were at the Air Force Base there, and we were just getting lunch because that was a day game, and the Royals were up 5-2 over the Guardians. And then next thing I know, I get back to the hotel and they're down. It's like 6-5 or 7-5 at that point. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? So, yeah, it's not, yeah, no, it didn't fill me up either. So, Ann Rodgers had a tweet about it. Yeah, I guess I missed that. I honestly, I just recently started following Ann Rodgers on Twitter. I didn't know. I knew she was. I thought I had already was following her, but a lot of the accounts I follow mostly were Chiefs. I was so frustrated last year with the Royals and the offseason. I am the first person to admit I was very, very wrong on this team. I predicted them to get 10 games better. I predicted them to go 66-96. Because my biggest issue with that was that the pitching wasn't good last year, but the offense was awful. The offense was absolutely awful last year. Minus Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny had an okay season, but when I saw who they brought in the offseason, Adam Frazier, Hunter Renfroe. I mean, Renfroe's not even playing in the postseason. He can't even get. And then, Melendez, I don't understand why they brought Melendez. It's like they don't have a major league outfield. They don't have major league hitters in the outfield. So, yeah, we go through a lot of beat writers, that's for sure. So let's do this. Let's go to, 2024 MLB free agents. I don't want to do MLB.com. This is what I want, Sport Track. Okay. Let's talk about something that maybe is that we get our mind off of this nonsense game. Because I really think tomorrow feels like an 8-1 Yankees victory to me. I mean, I don't. Michael Wacha has pitched well down the stretch. He's actually been the Royals' best pitcher in the second half. If you can get 3 out of him, 3 from Brady, and 3 from Daniel Lynch, maybe the Royals can break out tomorrow and score a lot of runs. So you don't need Urseg. And then Saturday, you just hope and pray that Reagans brings his A game, and they can go like what they did with Johnny Cueto, against the Astros, in that Game 5. Just as I remember Matt Vasgersian, he said, driver putter. He said to go 8 for Cueto and 1 with Wade Davis. If you can get that out of him on Saturday, that's what you hope for. But yeah, regression to the mean next year. I agree, and this is why we need to get better hitters. All right, so let's go to outfield. Outfielders. I guess we'll look at all types. We'll probably throw out people that have player options or club options. Well, we'll have to okay, all statuses. Yeah, all teams. Okay. So let's talk about. Okay, so Soto, his adjusted value $31 million. There's no way the Royals are going to have Bellinger. I thought the Royals could have gotten Cody Bellinger a couple years ago for around $10 million. You're not getting him for that price now. Teoscar Hernandez, no, he's going to be too expensive. Conforto strikes out too much for me. Haniger, same thing. But also I'm looking at the age here too. I don't want anybody over the age of 30, which is going to, or maybe just right out there. So Santander is an interesting case. He's got $11.7 million, but after hitting what did he hit 45 home runs this year, I think he's going to command more on the open market. Now it depends. Was that a 1-year outlier? And as a right-handed batter, I believe, is he right-handed? Oh, he's a switch hitter. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder how many of his home runs went, because since they moved that fence back in left field in Baltimore, Santander would be an interesting player if the Royals could shell out the money for him. Harrison Bader, no, he strikes out too much. He plays good center field though. Manuel Margot doesn't have enough power. I want someone who can actually hit the ball over the wall. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't know how far we got this far. Now we're seeing this guy right now, Alex Verdugo, in the series. I actually am circling Alex Verdugo. He made 8.7 this year, unrestricted free agent. The Yankees, I think, are going to let him go because they're going to want Jason Dominguez to be their everyday corner outfielder next year, and they're gonna walk on Verdugo. I think the Royals could get Verdugo for probably around that same price. I don't think he's going to command a salary higher than that. And what is Renfro? Is Renfro on a? Is he on an option or did he sign a? Oh, he's right here. He's on a player option of $7.6 million. So what is the chance that Hunter Renfro declines his $7.6 million option? I mean, he's not going to get that on the open market after the season he's had. He's gonna accept that. But anyway, I would be okay if Renfro's on the team next year. It's not the end of the world. But I would like to see the Royals get Alex Verdugo and Tyler O'Neill. I think both of those guys. Now, O'Neill's a right-handed batter. I would like to see another left-handed batter in the lineup. But look, Verdugo is a lefty. These two guys, I think, they're legitimate hitters. They're not Soto. They're not Bellinger. But they're better than Melendez and any other retread that we're running out there. I mean, and part of me is like, I want to get rid of Kyle Isbell too, or maybe Isbell's just your fourth outfielder. He's your defensive because he's really good on defense. And I hate to say want to get rid of him. He's actually hit pretty well here in the postseason in a small sample size, but Kyle Isbell's just not. If Kyle Isbell is your number 9 hitter on a team that doesn't have a lot of other holes, I think you can live with that. So he's signed, yeah. I think we need to look into high on base, more patience. I agree. Goes against Royals philosophy. I know, it does. I will say how they work around MJ and Garcia. I agree with you on Garcia. I think Garcia is a nice player to have off the bench. I was very critical of them penciling him in as an everyday third baseman this year. He played well in winter ball down in Venezuela, and I just the Royals can't go out and buy everything. And what honestly the difference in what has kept them in the season this year or in the hunt up to this point, it has been their pitching. Their starting pitching has been very good the entire season, and they've been healthy. I mean, they have been very, very healthy all season long. Yeah, when everybody else is sub, I agree with you. When they're sub 300, you just can't do that. Yeah. No. Well, let's look at third baseman. Let's see. Oh, geez. Oh my gosh. There's nobody here. Moncada. They got a club option for $25 million. They're going to decline that. They're rebuilding. They're not re-signing him. Suarez is going to be 34 next year. Club option for 15. And then the rest is just nonsense. Nick Maton. Holy crap. Dude, are you seeing this? This is insane. These are the free agent third basemen. The Royals are going to have to make a trade. They cannot go. I mean, Paul DeJong, whatever. I mean, he can hit home runs, but he either hits home run or strikes out. He doesn't walk. They can't have him as their everyday third baseman next year. And I agree with you. They can't. They're going to have to do something with Garcia. I think Garcia is your backup middle infielder. And but look at this. They're not. Would it be something if they signed Alex Bregman? He made $30 million this year. Interesting. Oh, I got it. I have to sign in to see all this other stuff. I'm trying to see what his here. Let's look what has he done this year. He's got 4 WAR, 268 OPS. He hasn't had it. I mean, 804 OPS, 821, 777, 801. I mean, yeah, that would be good for the Royals. He hasn't had an all-star season since before COVID. Since his 2019 year. Did he win MVP that year in 2019? Good grief, that looks like MVP numbers. Yeah, there is no one. Yeah. Yeah, money doesn't matter. I wonder what it would take to sign Bregman. He's not going to make 30 million next year. I mean, how old is he now? He's 30 and a half. So his birthday, so he'll be 31 by opening day. Previous adjusted. Oh, because he was 5 year for 100 million. What is his market value? Calculated market value $30 million. Do you think he's going to get a $10 million raise? Okay, yeah. My wife goes to bed without me. The last time we went to bed together was a long time ago. I stay up late. Yeah, I appreciate you jumping on here. I don't know what to really to do with this. I wanted to do more Royals content this year, but I was so mad in the off season, and then I wasn't saying I was rooting for my prediction for them to suck this year, but I'm glad that they're winning. I'm glad they're in the playoffs. And this is like playing with house money. And I predicted them to lose in 4 games to the Yankees. I thought they'd get swept in New York or lose those 2, and they'd win this game and then lose tomorrow. Regardless, it's going to come out the same way. If they win this series, I'm going to pull for them, but I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, well, Josh, I appreciate you jumping on here, and we'll. I'll try to join Soren's show tomorrow if they don't bring Joe frickin' Sheehan on there again. So anyway, well, have a good night, Josh. I appreciate you jumping on here. So we'll have to go to a Royals game sometime next year. So anyway, well, that's about all I want to say about tonight. Anyway, how long have I gone here? I've gone 37 minutes. I don't have anything else to say about this stupid game. So the Royals did lose 3-2 tonight to the Yankees. It was a frustrating game. The Royals didn't have a lot of base runners, but they did miss a few opportunities there, especially in the 8th inning. They had a chance to tie or to even take the lead, and then they went down like Punch and Judy hitters that they are in the 9th. So the Royals have to come back tomorrow, and they have to bear down. They have to attack these Yankees hitters. They can't be, putzing around in the corners. They have to come after them. The Yankees hitter, they're not hitting well. Even Stanton, who hit tonight, has not hit well in the series. The Royals have an advantage in the pitching. They need to take advantage of that. And Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino need to hit. These guys are the cornerstones of this team. They have to hit. If they don't hit, it's all a moot point. It doesn't matter. So we'll see if they can actually nut up tomorrow and get a win. I don't think it's going to happen. I do think the Yankees are going to win this series in 4, but as that was my prediction before the series started, and I thought they'd get here. I thought they'd get by the Baltimore Orioles, and I thought they'd get by them in 2 or 3 games. But I think the Yankees are just a better team. But the Royals have beat themselves. The Yankees have not beat them. The Royals have beat themselves in these 3 games. And honestly, they could have swept this series with the way the Yankees have played in this series. The Royals definitely could have swept this series. That's what makes it so frustrating. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Thanks, Josh, for joining in from Twitter and for jumping over here. And thanks for the conversation. Anybody else who catches us on the replay, if you like this, hey, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below if you like the content. Subscribe to the channel. I do NFL content. I've taken a couple weeks off from doing that because my schedule hasn't allowed it. And one of these days I am going to get back into streaming and doing some Let's Plays of some games. I got to come up with a game that we're going to do. Probably going to be a Lord of the Rings game. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked it, again, thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to. It's not a requirement. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night.